What's up, everybody? Red Dead Ocelot, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Assassin's Creed Origins. This is my number 2 on my favorite Assassin's Creed games of all time. Amongst the first one is Assassin's Creed 2, as I previously stated, from the video that I made on AC2 as of yesterday. So, to get into the meat and bones of AC Origins. Now, what I really truly thought about Origins when I first played it, my first playthrough, it was amazing. It was one of the most amazing endings I have ever seen in a video game. Amongst other Assassin's Creed games, I have been able to be very enamored with, I guess, if that's the word. But it was very inspiring nonetheless, you know, and we'll get to that at the close to the end of this video. So anyways, what I truly love about Assassin's Creed Origins specifically is the Hidden Blade. Yes, the Hidden Blade does come back in the Origins, obviously, because it is an Assassin's Creed game. I did feel like it wasn't Assassin's Creed games more fully than I did with Odyssey. Odyssey, to me, did feel like of an Assassin's Creed, but it didn't really have that type of Assassin's Creed feel to it because, you know, I think it had to do with because of the stealth mechanics that, you know, the previous old school AC games that we've had in the present past. So, I mean, it was just weird of how those games, it was just weird of how Odyssey implemented the assassinations in Odyssey. I'm not saying that they weren't satisfying, they were, but I just feel like Assassin's Creed Origins did a better job in terms of the assassination quality. You know, you do the ledge you can do the ledge assassinations are back. You can do the air assassinations are back. But here's the thing of this whole entire thing about Assassin's Creed Origins. When it comes to the assassinations with your Hidden Blade, okay? Before you get your Hidden Blade, what you have to do is that you have to go to a place called Alexandria. Alexandria is when you're going to be able to find your wife, Aya, okay? This is where you're going to be able to get your Hidden Blade. Now, there is an RPG mechanic within Origins that you have to maintain in order to build your Assassin Blade up. You have to basically have crafting materials in order to be much more efficient in that RPG aspect in order to assassinate your enemies, whether if they're going to be higher level than you or maybe possibly lower level than you. So that's a good mechanic. I really like that mechanic in the assassination thing in Origins. It's one of the best I think I've ever seen, especially in an Assassin's Creed game. Because I think, like I said, in Odyssey, I felt like it wasn't really forced, I would say. It just didn't feel natural to me. But in Origins or in the previous Assassin's Creed games, they weren't forced because they were original. They had that original gameplay aesthetic in terms of the assassination. That's what makes those older Assassin's Creed games even much more greater and amazing. So, another thing I think I would rather discuss about though too is the gameplay mechanics. What I do really like about the gameplay mechanics in Origins, it's not just about the assassinations like I previously mentioned. It has to do with the combat. The combat, I feel like, in Origins was, to me, it felt better than Odyssey's. Now, while Odyssey did have, the combat was a little bit more in-depth in terms of, you know, of the, you know, you can dual wield stuff in Odyssey. You can do that in Origins as well with daggers, you know. But with swords, I really can't. I think you can do it with swords as well in Origins. I think I just don't know if I've ever done that before. So, I mean, it's whatever. So I'm just gonna go with that. So, anyways, another thing I would really like to add is the fact that I'm a huge sucker when it comes to mythology or lore per se. And I think to me personally, I love the Greek mythology in Odyssey. I thought it was really interesting. It was very vibrant. It was the way how the whole entire game of itself was just, it showed a lot for what it was trying to do and how it showed what Odyssey was as a game as a whole. Not just an Assassin's Creed game, but I felt like that in Odyssey, it was more focused on the combat rather than like the assassinations per se in Odyssey. I mean, in Odyssey, you're basically an all-out warrior, right? And you can be able to do assassinations if you want, But like I said, you know, comparing Odyssey to Origins, I feel like that Origins did things a lot better in terms of the combat not being forced and being able to do assassinations in Origins. And that's why I think Origins finds a little bit of a much more of a proper balance rather than Odyssey. But that's just me, and that's just my personal opinion. So, chastise me all you want, I don't care. So that's all I can say. Now, what I truly think about Origins as well, Odyssey, listen to me, can't talk today. I thought that Origins, for me, it felt more... It was very vibrant. I mean, it's definitely one of the... I felt like that, comparing Origins to maybe possibly Black Flag, Origins is... It's a very high detailed map. It's pretty detailed. But when you're out in the world of Origins, I mean, you have so many things that you can explore. I mean, all the Assassin's Creed games were like that, excluding the first one back in 2007, because in 2007, Assassin's Creed, that wasn't really much open world. Assassin's Creed 2 took that open worldness of that game itself, and it provided all the way through the other Assassin's Creed games that we have now currently on this new generational hardware and on PC. So, that's all I can say about that. Let's see, I'm trying to think here, what else can I discuss about Origins? Oh, one thing in particular I did love about Origins as well, not just about, you know, like its gameplay mechanics, you know, the way how the world is and how lush it can be, but I felt like in Origins, the exploration to me felt like it was worth investing in. I felt like the grind in the open world of Origins was not forced at all. To me, it felt like it was forced in Odyssey. I mean, either way, like I said, you can make fun of me all you want. If you think that Odyssey had better exploration than Origins, by all means, do that. That's fine with me. I don't care. I'm just pointing out my own opinion across and see what I truly feel about, you know, Origins particular in terms of the exploration. I think the exploration in Origins is just, it's unique. And yes, it could be maybe similar-ish between the other Assassin's Creed games that we've had now or in the previous past. But either or, you just got to take it under consideration that the fact that I feel that Origins did just things a little bit better in the exploration thing. But like I said, that's just me. So, take it or leave it. One more thing is that I do feel like I love the legendaries that you can get in this game, basically the exotics. You know, it's a rarity type of thing, and that's why Assassin's Creed Origins lean more towards the RPG-ish mechanic because of the looting. I did feel like that in Origins, the looting was... it's a lot better than Odyssey. I felt like that in Odyssey, the looting was... to me, I felt like it was terrible. But that's just my opinion, of course. And so it's like, I feel like that Origins did it a little bit better because... Not just because of the weapons or the gear, but it just was... Like I said, it wasn't forced. It was telling you that what you want to do, not for the gear per se, or like your chest piece or whatnot, but it had to do with it's more on the lines of the weapons than anything else. And I think the weapons did it much better than Odyssey in terms of the loot and the rarity of those specific weapon items. You know, gold, uncommon, blues, greens, and that sort of thing. You know, they didn't have the green uncommons in here, but they did have different. But the rarities are not much different than from what the other previous games that we've had in terms of that type of Diablo-esque looting system. So that's all I can say about that. So now we are getting pretty close to the end of this video. So what I will say, I think that Origins did just a much better job in terms of everything. You know, it's exploration, it's combat. It's like I said, it might not be as deep as Odyssey's, but I just love the combat in Origins much better than Odyssey. So, I do highly advise, if you want to get into an Assassin's Creed games, if you ever played the previous ones, go ahead and pick this one up. But this is Red Dead Ocelot here. Sorry about that. Stay tuned for more future videos here on my channel. I really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making this one. But stay tuned to more here. And I'll chat with you guys later. Peace.